Welcome to Section 5, Lesson 1. Across the previous 4 sections, we built every algebraic and geometric tool for working with linear equations and inequalities. Today, Section 5 opens with a central conceptual leap that drives the rest of the algebra course, and into calculus, the function concept. A function is a rule that takes any input from a set of allowed inputs and produces a unique output for each one. The function concept generalizes the input-output thinking from linear modeling into a tool that handles every kind of relationship between two quantities, linear or non-linear, simple or complex. Mastering the function definition is the gateway to all of Section 5 and beyond. First idea on the board. A function is a rule that assigns to each input exactly one output. The input is typically called x and the output is typically called y or f of x. The defining feature is the uniqueness of the output. For any specific input value, the function produces exactly one specific output value, never two or more. This is what separates functions from more general relations, where one input could map to multiple outputs. Second idea. The simplest representation of a function is an ordered pair list, like the set containing the pair 1, 2, the pair 2, 3, the pair 3, 2, the pair 4, 5. Each pair has the form input, output, and the rule assigns the second coordinate to the first. The set is a function if and only if no two pairs share the same first coordinate. The second coordinates can repeat freely. In our example, the input 3 appears only once and is paired with output 2, the same output as input 1 was paired with. This duplication of outputs is fine. Third idea. The graphical test for whether a graph represents a function is the vertical line test. A graph on the coordinate plane represents a function if and only if every vertical line drawn through the graph intersects it at most once. If any vertical line hits the graph at 2 or more points, then there is at least one input value with multiple outputs, and the graph is not a function. The vertical line test is a quick visual diagnostic for any graph and is the single most useful tool for distinguishing functions from non-functions when the relation is given graphically rather than as a list of pairs. A function is a rule that assigns to each input exactly one output. Symbolically, a function f maps an input x to a unique output denoted f of x. The uniqueness of the output is the defining feature of a function and is what distinguishes functions from more general input-output relations. Here is the ordered pair representation. A function can be written as a set of input-output pairs, with each pair listing an input and its assigned output. The set is a function if and only if no two pairs share the same input. Repeated outputs are allowed, repeated inputs are not. This is the most concrete way to check whether a small finite relation is a function. Step 1 in the vertical line test. Look at the graph of the relation in the coordinate plane. The graph is a function if and only if every vertical line drawn through any point in the domain intersects the graph at most once. If any vertical line hits the graph at 2 or more points, the relation has multiple outputs at the corresponding input value and is not a function. Step 2. Apply the test. Imagine sliding a vertical line from left to right across the graph and watching how many times it crosses the curve at each x value. If the count is at most 1 for every x, the test passes and the graph is a function. If the count exceeds 1 at any x, the test fails and the graph is not a function but a more general relation. Step 3. Common examples. Lines that are not vertical pass the vertical line test and are functions. Parabolas opening up or down pass the test. Circles fail the test because vertical lines through the interior cross at 2 points. Sideways parabolas, where x equals y squared, fail the test for the same reason. Recognizing the common shapes by sight saves time when the vertical line test would otherwise need explicit drawing. Here is the first worked example. Determine whether the set of ordered pairs, the pair 1, 2, the pair 2, 3, the pair 3, 2, the pair 4, 5 represents a function. The check is to look for repeated input values across the 4 pairs. Step 1. List the inputs and check for repeats. The inputs are 1, 2, 3, and 4. All 4 are distinct. No input appears twice in the list, so the uniqueness condition for a function is satisfied. Step 2. Note that the output value 2 appears twice, paired with both input 1 and input 3. Repeated outputs are allowed in a function. Only repeated inputs would disqualify the relation. So the duplicate output is fine and does not affect the function status. Step 3. Conclude. Each input maps to exactly one output, with no input having multiple outputs. The set is a function. The function assigns 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 2, and 4 to 5. We could write the function as a small lookup table or as a graph of 4 isolated points on the coordinate plane. Step 4. Apply the vertical line test as a cross-check. Plot the 4 points on the coordinate plane 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 4, 5. Draw vertical lines at x equals 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each vertical line passes through exactly one of the 4 points. Vertical line test passes, confirming the set is a function. So the set is a function. The big lesson from this example is the input uniqueness check. Look at the input column or the first coordinates of the pairs and confirm that no input value appears twice. If all inputs are distinct, the relation is a function. The output column does not matter for this check. Outputs can repeat freely without affecting function status. This is the simplest and most reliable test for whether a small finite ordered pair list represents a function. Here is the second worked example. Determine whether the equation x equals y squared represents y as a function of x. The relation is given algebraically rather than as a list of pairs, so the graphical vertical line test is the natural diagnostic. Step 1. Generate a few ordered pairs from the equation by picking specific x values and solving for the corresponding y values. At x equals 4, y squared equals 4, so y equals plus or minus 2. The single input 4 maps to 2 different outputs, 2 and negative 2. This is the function disqualifying pattern 1 input mapping to multiple outputs. Step 2. Visualize the graph. The equation x equals y squared describes a sideways parabola opening to the right with vertex at the origin. The parabola has 2 branches, an upper branch in the upper half plane and a lower branch in the lower half plane, mirror images across the x-axis. Step 3. Apply the vertical line test. Draw a vertical line at x equals 4. The line crosses the upper branch at the point 4, 2 and the lower branch at the point 4, negative 2, 2 intersection points total. The test fails because the line crosses the graph more than once. Step 4. Conclude. The equation x equals y squared is not a function in y because the input x equals 4 maps to 2 distinct outputs y equals 2 and y equals negative 2. The relation is more general than a function. If the problem asked for x as a function of y instead, the answer would be different. X equals y squared is a function in y because each y value produces exactly one x value through squaring. So x equals y squared is not a function in y. The big lesson from this example is the vertical line test applied to a graphically described relation. The test is fast, visual, and reliable. Sideways parabolas, circles, ellipses, and hyperbolas opening sideways all fail the vertical line test and are not functions in y. Upright parabolas, lines that are not vertical, and many other curves pass the test and are functions. Building the vertical line test reflex now lets you classify any graphical relation in seconds for the rest of the algebra course. 3 mistakes that catch every algebra student during their first weeks of function definition work. Each one is fixable with a small explicit habit applied on every problem. First mistake: believing that repeated output values disqualify a relation from being a function. A student looks at the set containing the pair 1, 2 and the pair 3, 2, sees that the output 2 appears twice, and concludes the set is not a function. The conclusion is wrong. Repeated outputs are fine in a function as long as no input is repeated. The function in this case maps both inputs 1 and 3 to the same output 2, which is a perfectly valid function assignment. The fix is to remember the rule clearly repeated inputs disqualify, repeated outputs do not. Second mistake, believing that repeated input values are allowed in a function. A student looks at the set containing the pair 1, 2 and the pair 1, 3, sees that the same input 1 appears with two different outputs 2 and 3, and concludes the set is a function on the grounds that the outputs are different. The conclusion is wrong. A function requires each input to map to exactly one output, so input 1 mapping to both 2 and 3 is not allowed. The fix is the same rule from the first mistake, applied in the other direction. Repeated inputs disqualify. Third mistake, confusing the vertical line test with the horizontal line test. A student trying to determine whether a graph is a function applies the horizontal line test by mistake, drawing horizontal lines and counting intersections. The horizontal line test is for a different question. It determines whether a function is one-to-one, a property we will cover in the inverse functions lesson later in the section. The function existence test is the vertical line test. The fix is to memorize vertical line test for function status, horizontal line test for one-to-one status. Two different tests for two different questions. The function concept is one of the most universal ideas in all of mathematics, science, engineering, and computing because almost every meaningful relationship between two quantities can be expressed as a function. Four broad sectors below. In physics, every formula is implicitly a function. Position as a function of time describes how an object moves. Force as a function of mass and acceleration is Newton's second law. Energy as a function of velocity is kinetic energy. The function notation we will cover in the next lesson makes the input-output structure explicit, but the concept is already present in every physics formula you have ever seen. In programming, the word function literally describes a deterministic input-output rule that takes argument values and returns a single result. Every well-designed function in any programming language behaves like a mathematical function. Same inputs always produce the same outputs. No input has multiple outputs. The mathematical function concept is the design pattern that programmers borrow continuously. In statistics and machine learning, predictive models are functions from feature vectors to predictions. A linear regression model takes the feature values for an observation and produces a single predicted target value. A neural network takes an input vector and produces an output vector. The function structure underpins all of supervised learning, and the rules from today, especially the uniqueness of output for each input, are essential properties of well-defined models. In spreadsheets, every formula in every cell is a function from the values in other cells to the value in the formula cell. Excel, Google Sheets, and similar tools are giant graphs of functions evaluated continuously as data changes. Anyone using a spreadsheet for budgeting, accounting, project planning, or data analysis is using mathematical functions constantly, often without thinking of them in those terms. The skills you build today are foundational across all of digital quantitative work. 3 things to take with you from this lesson today. The function concept is the central organizing idea of the rest of Section 5 and of Section 6 on systems of equations, and it generalizes the input-output thinking from Section 4 into a flexible, powerful tool that handles every kind of two-quantity relationship. First, a function is a rule that assigns to each input exactly one output, with no input ever mapping to two or more different outputs. The uniqueness of the output for each input is a defining feature. A function takes any allowed input and produces a single specific output, never two or more. This is what makes functions useful. Given an input, you always know exactly what to expect for the output, with no ambiguity. Second, the most common mistake on function definition problems is confusing the rules for inputs and outputs. Repeated inputs disqualify a relation from being a function. Repeated outputs are allowed and do not affect function status. Remember the rule clearly: each input must map to exactly one output, but multiple inputs can share the same output. This handles every ordered pair list problem cleanly. Third, to check whether a graph represents a function, apply the vertical line test. The graph is a function if and only if every vertical line drawn through the plane intersects the graph at most once. If any vertical line hits the graph 2 or more times, the relation has multiple outputs at the corresponding input and is not a function. Common examples: lines that are not vertical pass the test, parabolas opening up or down pass, sideways parabolas and circles fail. Sometimes a relation that is not a function in y can be split into two or more separate functions by restricting the y values to subsets where the test passes. The sideways parabola x equals y squared, for instance, can be split into y equals positive square root of x and y equals negative square root of x, two functions whose graphs together reproduce the original sideways parabola. The splitting trick is useful when applied carefully and previews the inverse function ideas from later in the section. The function concept introduced today is one of the most universal abstractions in all of mathematics, science, and engineering, and the next several lessons in Section 5 will build out the notation, the evaluation procedure, the domain and range concepts, and the function transformations that together turn the simple input-output rule into a full toolbox for modeling almost any quantitative relationship. Coming up next, the lesson called Function Notation and Evaluation, where the abstract function concept gets a concrete symbolic notation that makes the input-output structure explicit and lets us evaluate functions at specific input values, just like we evaluated algebraic expressions in Section 2.